So God knew us. And how, unto who were we? And what were we? Were we a whole person as we are now? Were we spirit? What were we? Whatever it was, God knew us. And we're not just some people who just came to be by chance. So I read that again in verse 2. But before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. And sanctified means he gave you a job. He had a job for you. Even before you were deposited in your mother's womb, God knew what he wanted you to do when you came to this world. Now, the only thing about a free will person, he can do it or not do it. Now, that's one thing that God will not infringe upon your free will. He won't do that. But he had a job for us when he put us here. Now, I raised the question again, and I raised the question again. Did he know us in terms of our sinews, tendon, in terms of our flesh, our skin, our breath? Whatever it was, he knew us. And I think we need to understand the significance of us. Who are we? And sometimes life is so difficult, it just seems that we're just another rock on the hill falling. But we're more than a rock on the hill falling, yes.
So it seems like we were who we were before we were conceived, right? That's what we're saying here? For the conception. We were who we were before we were actually conceived.
Well, I never put it that way, but I mean, we were somebody, we were something, weren't we? Whatever we were noticeable by God. So we were noticeable and recognizable by God. And you put it, you said, well, we were who we were. Let me see, how did you say it?
We were who we were before we were conceived.
Okay. So,
What I'm understanding.
mm-hmm.
God knew who we were before we were actually conceived in the mother's womb, in our mother's womb.
He knew us.
He said that before we were deposited in our mother's womb, he knew us.
Yes. Right, I know it, but that scares me. That's why I raised the question. What were we? That scares me there. If you say that we were back there, what we are now. So I hear you, and I'm not going to fuss on that. I'm not going because all of us are guessing. All of us are trying to understand. Yes.
All of the above.
Huh?
All of the above. That you named, the times that you named, right? You named.
Mm-hmm.
He knows all of the above. God always do that. Always do that.
Mm-hmm.
Before we were born, he always do it.
Mm-hmm.
All of the above. And never came time he knew who we were.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And that's something when you look at this thing, y'all. We are somebody. We are more than what we perceive that we are. Yes.
The statement that they made that God is all-knowing, that would support the thesis that he knew us before we were even conceived. If he's all-knowing,
He's all knowing.
there's nothing he doesn't know. What was our form? What were we?
Well, now that's why I said. That's why I raised the question. Are we sinews or tendon? Were we flesh? What were we? Now, what I'm saying is, were we in parts? Were we a part here, a bone over here, and flesh over here, and skin over here, and we weren't all put together. I don't know. I don't know. Yes. Okay. Okay. So substance, what? It's something. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Hmm. Hmm. Substance. Okay. So we're gonna get there. Okay. Verse. Let me finish up with Jeremiah 1, verse 5. You see, I have appointed thee a prophet unto the nation. Then said I, O Lord Jehovah, behold, I know not how to speak. Y'all feel like that sometimes? Oh, Lord Jehovah, I don't know that I can get up and go to church. Oh, Lord Jehovah, this thing is just so difficult. Y'all see what I'm saying? But with what he wants us to do sometimes, it seems so difficult. And really, what God wants us to do, it goes against our nature. He said, love your neighbor. Now, that's not a natural thing. It ought to be a natural thing. But we live in a world that is not. So normally what he requests for us to do almost goes against what the devil influences us to do. Okay. I know not how to speak, he says, for I'm a child. But Jehovah said unto him, say not, I'm a child, but to whomsoever I shall send thee, thou shalt go, and whatsoever I shall command thee, thou shalt speak. In other words, I'm with you. And that's something we need to learn, that whatever God wants us to do, we can do it. We can get it done. Now, we may not want to do it. And this will we got, y'all, this will we got, this will. And seemingly the will has a mind of its own. And a lot of times we want to do what's right, but now I don't know what you say, the will, or what you say, the flesh gains control of the wheel and to pull us to the left when we know we ought to be going to the right. But that's where we live. Now, I don't think Eve was a bad girl. Do you think so? Adam wasn't a bad boy. But they lust after it. And as it dangles, it was enticing to them. The old people say, I've heard the people say, child, you better do it while you're young. Better get it now. And you'll be amazed at the people that live by that philosophy in life. Okay, so now we go on to our text, which is Psalms 139. We're going to start at verse 13. Yes. Okay. No, he had a job for you. Sanctified is to set apart for a particular job. I remember the preachers say, the housewife got a sanctified set of utensils that she uses only when guests come around. So it's set aside for special use. You don't use it every day. And so we are made for special, at least Jeremiah, and all of us are. Okay, so we're looking then in Psalm 139, verse 13. For thou didst form my inward parts. And here we get to this. For you form is to put together, don't you? It's the form of something. You form it, you put it together. For thou didst form my inward parts. Thou didst cover me in my mother's where? So he was there. And that's when this verse, it calls the mother's womb the lowest parts of the earth. That's the lowest part, which means that that's almost like in Genesis 1 we read, where it says that it was a void and darkness over the earth. So the mother's womb is the lowest part of the earth. Okay, so verse 14. And I will give thanks. Let me make sure I'm right. Verse 14. I will give thanks unto thee, for I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. If you don't believe that the body of man is fearfully made, talk to the doctors. Like all of the systems, you got the water system, you got the breathing system, you got the blood system. You just got so many systems. And they all click together when things are well. I'm fearfully. When you look at it, you're almost afraid of it. Almost looking at a heartbeat outside of the chest. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And I often mention this. Yes? Oh, wow. That is something, isn't it? Yes. Well, now, I don't think it's looking down on her, but it's saying that's the beginning. That's the beginning. So it's not looking down on her, saying that she's bad, but it's just saying that that's the beginning. It's like void, darkness. It's just the beginning of life there. You see what I'm saying? So fear, so is holy. It's fear and then wonderfully. Wonderfully. Look how your hand is put together. Wonderfully made. And if we take time to look at something like this, it'll help us as we deal with life. That we're just not here by chance, that we are somebody. And this world is a great world. Now remember what the angels said about man. They said to God, who is man that thou art mindful of him? Or the son of man that thou visited him? It says, well, you made him a little lower than the angels. You put him over the works of your hand. You put him over your feet. So who is man? Well, we can go back to this verse and we can show who man is. Who are we? But this thing, see, we all get caught up in the money. And we're in a situation now, there's so much stress, Lord, so much heartache in America, because it looks like the systems that our mothers and fathers depended upon are no longer be here. There's just so much going on. But if we can take time to go to these verses, it'll make things better for us. Okay, so verse, yes. So, but let's take away the folly And what do you got? Take away the suffix, forli. What do you got? You got fear. You got fear. Now you deal with electricity. That stuff is, you better be fearful when you deal with that stuff. You got to know how to, you got to know how to deal. You can hold it and handle it, but you got to be careful, don't you? So it's fearfully. You got to watch it.
By that very word, fearful.
Right.
Another direction when I read that wonderfully.
Yeah.
Sort of bring things back
Yeah.
online.
It's,
Word.
but it's frightening. You look at death, people die. I mean, I've been there when people have died. I've had funerals, but it's just fearful. I mean, it's just something that's fearful. Okay, well, that's what we're talking about. Yes. Yes. So all of us are on. All of us are on. All of us got the hammer and we're hitting the nail on the head. All of us are on. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought you wanted to come in. Okay. Was there anybody else? Yes. 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 Mhm. Right. Wonderful. So it's fearful, yes.
Also, Romans 1:20, it says, "For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power, godliness." It says, we know God by his creation.
Okay. Very good. And do me a favor. Go to Hebrews 11. I think I want verse 2, where it talks about the world. The world is not made out of the things that are seen.
What was the verse?
Hebrews chapter 11, I think it's verse 2 or 3. Now that's something, so you can look at what that verse said, you can look at what is, and you can say, wait a minute now, there got to be somebody out there. There has to be somebody.
And that verse goes on to say, the fact that you deny him, you have seen him in all the creation that he has done, but yet still we deny
Yes.
the presence of God.
And so the fool has said what? In his heart, there is no God. But he knows better. He knows better. Did you find that verse? Verse 3? Somebody said verse 3. How about so the things which are seen are not made by the things that appears. So you can go up there all you want to. There are no records up there of all those stones and sticks that reveals how this world was made. Yes. Yeah. And then finally it said, wonderfully made. Wonderfully made. And they talk about the eye. Just look at the eye, how it works. How intricate it is. So that ought to give us some feelings that, that we're just not here. We got somebody who is greater than we are that put us here. And he cares for us. And a lot of the things that we are crying about and we are moaning about and we are having sleepless nights about don't mean anything. But the devil will have us to think that it's something. Yes.
That should give us hope when we think about how God made us
Yes.
wonderfully, fearfully, and marvelous are his works, because the scripture says that.
Amen. Now, you're right. But let me throw a stone in there. How did the devil influence the angels in heaven, knowing God in his presence, to go against God? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I'm just showing you that the power that the devil had. And yet he don't have power in terms of whipping you, but he has power in terms of a lie. The devil is a liar. Jesus said that, didn't he? When he speaks a lie, he speaks of his own, and he's the father of it. And when you look at it, everything he did is a lie. And all of the things that he got us worrying about and crying about, y'all, is just a lie. It's just a lie. That's right. Okay, verse 15. Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. Well, sometimes us too. Yeah. Now, see, the thing is that when you look at the Bible, looks like you got the Lord on the left side on your shoulder, and the devil's on the right. That's what it is. One over here. One encouraging us to do what's right, and the other is encouraging us to do what's wrong. And there's more blessing in doing right than it is doing wrong. Okay, verse 15. My frame was not hidden from thee when I was made in secret. There you go. Talking about the womb, isn't it? 15, we're in Psalm 139, verse 15. My frame was not hidden from thee when I was made in secret and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. And that's the womb is probably the lowest part of life. That's the beginning. When the kids get out, you got to teach them how to walk. Teach them how to be social. But they catch on now. They catch on. They catch on. They catch on. And we all been in that womb, haven't we? All of us been in that womb. Every one of us. And curiously wrought in the lower parts of the earth. Thine eyes did see mine unformed substance. So, Tesla, when something is unformed, what does that mean? Okay. That's right. Doesn't have shape. Not developed. No shape, no curves, unformed. Can you say glop? What? Would y'all run me out of here? What would you say? Just a mess. Mess, okay. All right. We're not going to fuss in here tonight. Okay, so, and curiously wrought in the lower parts of the earth, and eyes, yes. Earth.
Before us to live on the planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember, there's 9 other planets. Bring 9 other planets.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't put it there.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't put it there. Now, this is what I believe. Those 9 other planets are on these lights there. I think they look the same now, those 9 planets, as they did when he first started. When he first hit the world, because they were in Earth. I think the 9 planets look the same now. Nobody on them, they have not been disturbed the day that he built. But he put us on Earth to live.
On earth. And when you look at it, I just see a little bit about it. There's some things that we have to live here is not on any other place. So in other words, life, what they're saying, as far as they know now, no planet can sustain life because it doesn't have what's needed. But yet they're trying to go there. And I don't know now. I don't know that I'm going to. I guess you could get me on this. I don't know that I'm going to condemn them because in the process, they come up with a lot of different kind of new technology that help the sick people in Manatee Hospital. So, but you can come back at me and say there are people that are starving, Brother Williams. They're putting all that money up there, so I won't fuss. I won't fuss about it. And so, so we are, like you say, Lester, God put us here. Now, Lester, you remember back in Genesis, those people wanted to build a tower to heaven. And God wanted them to stay here and be in good relationship with their neighbors.
So in that instance, just the Tower of Babel.
Okay.
Satan is already in heaven, right?
was on earth because he had already messed with Adam and Eve. So it was after Adam and Eve episode.
I got that part, but I
Right. So I would think that he was on earth, yeah. So the Lord kicked him out. He kicked him out of heaven. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me get her, then I pick you up. Yes. Say that again now. Well, when all I know is that when Satan came down, was kicked out, so was the angels with him. And now the Bible's point of view is that they're in darkness and chains, awaiting the day of judgment. But still looks like they got some freedom, you know. And when we argue like this, that you put a dog or a dog on a leash, now that dog can't come get you, but you can get over there where he is. You get in his fence, he can eat you up. So the same thing about the devil, he can't really come over and just control you, but if you get in sin, if you get in lies, he can deal with you. That's his territory. Yes, Lester. That's all right. That's all right. I know about that, Brother Lester. Huh? I remember. Okay.
So scripture that Brother David,
Mm-hmm.
because of the incident of Eve and the serpent in the Garden of Eden, we can conclude that Satan had been kicked out of heaven.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah.
Just need to clarify.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yes.
My basis for saying,
Yes.
making that statement.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He was kicked out. No doubt. Okay, we're about. Yes. Now, I never heard that. But we do know that they do work on earth. We do know that, yeah. We do know that. But again, it's almost like a bad dog, a junkyard dog. If you get in his territory, he eats you up. Now, they don't have the power they have if you get in their territory. So yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Okay, let's. Yeah. I think it's the Hadean world. Yeah, that's Satan's world. Now remember the white throne judgment, that world is going to be destroyed.
But we're talking about, in this verse, it says, when I was made in secret
Uh-huh.
and skillfully wrought in the lowest part of the earth.
Okay.
So that is talking about the child being in the womb.
Yes.
So that would be hell.
No. That's just a less developed place. It's not developed as such. That's the lowest part of our coming into this world. That's the beginning there. So that's what that is. So it's not saying it's bad or anything, but that's the very lowest part. And you told us a story about you couldn't see anything, Beverly? Mm-hmm. You can hear the heartbeat. Is there anything any littler than that? Any smaller than that? Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you know, all these wondrous things that's happening around us every day, and we get so busy that we don't even notice them. We don't even see them. And we're busy about nothing almost, you know, worried about nothing. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Yep, it is. Okay, let's see now. Where am I? I was trying to get to that verse. Okay, so verse 15, I think we read verse 16. Thine eyes did see mine unformed substance. And in thy book, oh Lord, and in thy book they were all written. How many days we going to be here? What's that, Sister Linda Leaks? In that book, Linda Leaks, they are all written. All written. They're in the books. How many days? And yet I do all I can to try to increase my days. Try to increase the days. But they all wouldn't. But now we do know that a man can hurry his life away in this earth, can he? A man can die prematurely because of his behavior. And he can live longer by good behavior. And we know that's so. Okay, so thine eyes did see mine unformed substance, and in thy book they were all written. Now look, he makes it plain. Even the days that were ordained for me, when as yet there was none of them. Even before there were days, the Lord had us in his books. Oh, he said, what? Let there be what? So before he created the days, we were all in the book. Okay, so that brings us down to now. God knows and guides us in our adulthood. That's Psalms 139, verse 1 through verse number 7. So God guide us when we are adults. His eyes is upon us. Now, we have gone through the birth, and now we're here in this world. And we're trying to make a way in this world, starting in verse 1 through 7. So now look what it says. It says, O Jehovah, thou hast searched me. O Jehovah, thou hast searched me and know me. And that's heavy there. You've searched me and know me. Sometimes I don't even know myself. But Lord, O Jehovah, thou hast searched me and know me. Thou knowest my down sitting and my uprising. How many times you sit down during the day? And how many times you rise up? He knows, doesn't he? Wow. So sometimes we think we're free, but we're all under his eyes. Okay? So verse 3, the latter part of verse 2. Thou understandest my thoughts are far off. Even before the thoughts get in our mouth, God understands them. As if the thoughts are coming. Thou searchest out my path, that is my way, my journey, and my lying down. And y'all journeyed here this evening. And you're going to go home and you're going to lay down. God knows. He knows. He knows us. And all of that, that's kind of, that's, to me, that's, wow. And art acquainted with all my ways. All our ways he is acquainted with. For there is not a word in my tongue. But Lord Jehovah, thou knowest it all together. Very thoughts. And this is nothing to be afraid of, but it's just to indicate to us the God that we deal with. And after all of this stuff, we can say he's loving, he's kind, he doesn't do people wrong, he cares for us. Verse 7, whither shall I go from thy spirit? Or whither shall I flee from thy presence? Where can we go to hide? Oh, where we can go to hide. Yeah, I think so. And so he follows us during our adult years. He's there. Whatever we're going through, he sees it. And I think he's just saying, he's not talking about delivering us from our problems, but he's just saying he knows. He knows. There's so many things that are in us that is hidden from the rest of us. So many things. The Bible says, how is that? What man knows the heart of a man save the spirit that is within him? Now listen, who knows you better than your spirit? Who? Nobody. Your spirit knows you. Okay, so it looks like our time is gone. So that brings us down to God. God God's will is good. And I like what he said. He finally decided God's will is good, acceptable, and perfect. Verse 17 through 22. So that again, our class there for today. Ask